Brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him.
You would always have one dude in the neighborhood who never really came outside. You always had the one cat who everybody knew he lived in the neighborhood, but people didn't know too much about him. Never really came outside. He would go to school. You see him at school, then you guys go home, and then, the regular kids, you come home, you take your school clothes off, you put your play clothes on, you take your ass right back outside. But the little bitch ass dude, you never saw him. He never came back outside after school.
Just tell me who you are.
No one you'd ever notice. I don't run in your circles.
Yeah, then what is it you do?
I watch.
You watch?
Yes, well, what else is there to do when life turns on you and you've retreated into some small room? You look out your window. You see people come in and out of this phone booth, the same ones every day. You make up names for them. You imagine their stories. But eventually you get tired of imagining, and one day you follow one of them.
All we know so far is that, according to several neighbors we've talked to, one of them says that Zephan Zaver stayed to himself. The 21-year-old, the neighbor says, could be heard yelling while playing video games all in the middle of the night. We've talked to one of them says that Zephan Zaver stayed to himself. The 21-year-old, the neighbor says, could be heard yelling while playing video games all in the middle of the night. Now, public records and neighbors that we spoke to also say that he moved to Florida with his mother from Plymouth County, Indiana. He's originally from Indiana, and that's in Plymouth County. Now that's Beeman, Indiana. In November, Zaver started work at Avon Park Correctional Institute as a correctional officer trainee. The Department of Corrections says he resigned exactly 2 weeks ago. They tell us he never faced any disciplinary action while he worked there. And we also found that he has no criminal history either.
These dudes in the gaming community, it's a lot of dangerous ass white supremacists in them, and y'all need to watch out. I've been tweeting that shit for months. It's some dangerous fucking dudes in here. This shit is a playground for the alt-right. There are hardcore white supremacists within the gaming community.
Flags across Florida are at half-staff to honor 5 people killed in a mass shooting at a bank. And we're learning more about the victims, all of whom were women. They include 1 customer and 4 employees of the SunTrust Bank in Sebring. 21-year-old Zephan Zaver was charged yesterday with 5 counts of premeditated murder. Police are searching for a motive. DeMarco Morgan has details of the victims.
Anna was a wife to my brother, a mother to 7 children, a daughter, a sister, and family to everyone she knew.
Anna Pinion-Williams had only been working at SunTrust for 3 weeks when she was senselessly killed Wednesday. Tim Williams is her brother-in-law.
Her life was truly a light in this world. She made it a better place.
SunTrust employees Marisol Lopez and Jessica Montague were also killed, as well as customer Cynthia Lee Watson. Her best friend, Marilyn Martin, says Watson married the love of her life 2 weeks ago.
That's the only words I've said all day is I just say, why? Can't imagine what somebody would go through in a situation like that.
Police say Zephan Zaver, armed with a bulletproof vest and a 9mm handgun, killed his victims while they lay face down on the ground. He now faces 5 counts of premeditated murder. He recently moved to Florida from Indiana, where he met Alex Gerlach. Gerlach says she was Zaver's ex-girlfriend. Last week, she says he sent her a picture of a gun.
He just, for some reason, always hated people and wanted everybody to die. I've been scared for years, and every single person I've told has not taken it seriously, and it's very unfortunate that it had to come to this.
The George Floyd incident was a Hollywood act. There wasn't even cops. That's why there's no official booking pictures. That's right, because there wasn't cops. They're going to give you a Hollywood scripted courtroom. That's what they're going to do with actors. So, watch. That's what they're going to do. They're going to give you a courtroom play out Or they're just going to give you nothing and they're going to blow it off and they're going to escalate this. One or the other, because the George Floyd situation is a Hollywood act. There's no cops in jail. No, there isn't. No, not at all. The I Can't Breathe, okay. Black Lives Matter, who's funded by George Soros. Yeah. All of this stuff was planned long in advance, orchestrated, and part of NWO. Every last bit of it. But why would they do that? To destabilize this country. To destabilize other countries.
And you hear all of his lies, and you decide that his sins should be punished. Some guy shouting into his cell phone full of self-importance isn't going to notice me. But I noticed that German porn king, and I noticed that corrupt executive. And I noticed you, Stu.
It's important that I talk to you, all right? I've done a little bit of reading, and I know a little bit about involuntary...
celibacy.
Celibacy, right. So being celibate, involuntarily celibate. What does that mean?
That means celibacy means someone who never has a sexual intercourse.
Right.
Involuntary celibacy means this wasn't your choice. You essentially have been thrown into true forced loneliness and you're unable to lose your virginity.
Right.
This is especially painful for young males.
Right. That makes sense. When did you first... Sorry, you mentioned this and I forgot. When did you first go on to 4chan?
2014.
2014. And specifically when in 2014?
May 23, 2014.
And how were you able to remember that?
Because I remember that was a very significant day.
Okay. What was that?
That was when Elliot Rodger decided to essentially commit an uprising, a beta uprising, if you will,
right,
against the Chads and the Stacys. It was a beta uprising.
A beta uprising? Okay.
Although he didn't call it a beta uprising at the time. Someone else who was inspired by him by the name of Chris Harper called it a beta uprising sometime in, actually I believe it was October 1, 2015.
It was Elliot Rodger who was the father of
basically the founding forefather of the entire movement.
Right. So explain to me this movement. What's this movement about?
It's basically a movement of angry incels such as myself who are unable to get laid. Therefore, we want to overthrow the Chads, which would force the Stacys to be forced to reproduce with the incels.
Right. Okay. And when you say incels,
involuntary celibate.
Celibate. So that's just a short form for fellas who
can't get laid.
Can't have sex. Right. Okay. And what happened in the Elliot Rodgers uprising? What did he do?
I know he used a gun as well as a vehicle to convert the life status of certain individuals to death status.
Right.
Only to carry the message that incels can't be oppressed.
And then what about Chris Harper Mercer? What did he do?
He used a gun for all of his murders.
And were these fellas active on 4chan?
Yes.
They were. Have you ever communicated with these fellas?
I actually have, as a matter of fact.
Who did you communicate with?
Both of them, actually.
Really?
We discussed our frustrations at society and being unable to get laid, and we were plotting a certain timed strikes on society in order to confuse and shake the foundations, just to put all the normies in a state of panic.
Okay, and who would be a normie?
Normie means normal people. That would be anyone who is considered to be normal by the unfair standards of society.
But not the Chads or Stacys. Chads
and Stacys are actually above normies, or at least they think they're above normies.
Of course, yeah. Okay, all right. So is it fair to say you've got Chads and Stacys up here, normies down here? And then you've got celebs who believe that they are being repressed. Incels, sorry.
Yes.
Incels who believe they're being suppressed or repressed. Yes. And so as a result, to even the playing field.
Yes.
They convert the Stacys and Chads from living to dead, and to
so
make
that we come out on top.
Yeah, more than so. Is there so the targets? Who would the targets for this uprising be?
All of the alpha males.
All the alpha males. So the Chads.
Yes.
So those are the people that you want to kill.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And who else?
Any of the Stacys who do not wish to give their love and affection to the incels.
So they're a target as well.
Yes.
To be killed.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the normies? Normies.
Yes, we don't necessarily wish to kill the normies, but we do wish to subjugate them in order to make them understand that that our type is the more superior one.
Right. So when you say subjugate, what do you mean by that?
Meaning either imprison them or put them in a lower position in society.
Okay.
So that they acknowledge the incels or the Pepe the Frog types as the more superior ones.
So you're saying things that I'm not familiar with.
Sorry.
What's a Pepe the
but
Frog?
He's a mascot on 4chan, and
he's a mascot?
Yes.
Oh, mascot on 4chan.
Yes. I was using a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's actually worshipped quite frequently.
Oh, okay. All right.
Men have isolated themselves from this issue. There are got to be hundreds of thousands, if not a couple million guys that are dealing emotionally what we're dealing with, but they are not getting out there. This is like being kept like a top secret, like the secret of the atom bomb before it was sold to Russia or whatever.
Most of the world was introduced to incels when Elliot Rodger killed 6 people at UC Santa Barbara in 2014.
Police didn't have to search long to learn what motivated a 22-year-old gunman to kill 6 people and injure 7 others.
Before doing so, he posted a 141-page manifesto, mostly blaming women for not having sex with him.
I will slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up, blonde slut.
It made him a hero among some incels. Then, in Toronto in April, Alec Minassian praised Rodger on Facebook before driving a van into a crowd of people, killing 10.
Alec Minassian wasn't part of a terrorist group, but it may not be as simple as suggesting he was a lone wolf.